All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about face masks because this is a problem, obviously, that we know is happening everywhere right now. You can't go anywhere, it seems, without having to wear that mask. So how do we get around this? What do we do about this, being as though we have governors and we have mayors that have mask mandates? I'm going to share a little bit of information with you, just some tips to help you out in your regular everyday life. Now, depending on where you live, whether you're in the United States or out of the country, there's going to be different, mask rules depending on where you're at. Let's start at the federal level. Currently, right now, President Trump does not have a national mask mandate in place. However, the states do. So the states he pretty much left it up to the states to make their own decision when this whole thing first started. So governors can make that call, and many governors have put in, a requested state mandate that everybody wears a mask, whether they're indoors. Some have mandates if you're outdoors, again, depending on the state. And usually the stricter mask requirements are in the Democrat blue states. So if you're in a blue state, you're going to have a little bit more of an issue with this. Let's talk about the mayors. Now, if you go down to the cities, the mayors are going to have the ability to be able to put up their own rules about masks. Now, for myself, I live in the state of Arizona. Our governor is a Republican. However, like a coward, he deflected. He didn't want to do any sort of a mask mandate. He left it up to all of the mayors in the state to make up their own rules, their own decisions for the masks. And unfortunately, well, about 80% of them put in mask mandates across the entire state, despite the fact that Arizona is usually more of a red Republican state. I had a feeling that was going to happen. As soon as he made that announcement, I said, look, we have a lot more blue Democrat mayors in charge here in Arizona than people think, even though we tend to go red in the presidential elections and stuff like that. But we have a lot of liberals here, and they did that. Now, here's how we get around this. I found for myself, this is just me speaking from personal experience, if you call around to places and you call in advance and you ask them whether or not they require people to wear a mask, now whether this is a restaurant or whether this is some sort of an entertainment center, whatever it may be, believe it or not, there are some businesses that will not require you, at least in my state, and this is probably the same for a lot of yours as well, that will not require you to have to wear a mask. Now, this is found more in the independent, smaller businesses that aren't the big corporations, because you're talking big corporations, look, they're completely sold out. They're going to be making you wear a mask. That's just the way that it is, okay? Any major grocery chain, the movie theaters, at least the major ones, they're going to make you do it. But a lot of the smaller, the independent businesses, they're not doing that. And so for myself, I have called around, and I have found several places within my own state that do not require people to have to wear masks. And those are the places that I go to because it's like, I would say like a breath of fresh air, but it is freedom to be able to go to establishments where the owners will not require you to have to wear a mask. And these places are receiving a significant boost in business compared to where they were maybe back in March when this whole thing first started. But you have to be able to do the research. You have to sit down. You have to start making some phone calls and asking them. And many of them will tell you that, well, you know what, we leave it up to the customer. And there's some customers that feel like they want to wear one, and they do. But it's not required of them, and that is huge. Now, this even goes that if you're in a city that has passed an ordinance that you would have to wear a mask, but it's still up to the individual business whether or not they are going to enforce any sort of a mask mandate. So it's almost as if whether your city has a mask mandate in place or not, it really comes down to the business. If every city, let's say in your state, lifted their mask mandates, those individual businesses could still implement mask rules. Even though the governor might say, nope, you don't need to do it anymore. We're not doing that anymore. The mayors are saying the same thing. But those businesses, if they feel that they need to keep that rule in place, they'll do it if they don't feel safe. And many of them are scared. However, here's the thing. When that happens, this is even more important that you do your research and you start calling these places because you find other businesses that are maybe on the same level. Again, like if it's a restaurant, if it's an entertainment place, whatever it is, and you call and say, do you still require people to wear masks? If they say yes, say, okay, you know what? I'm a longtime customer here. I've been coming here for a long time. I'm no longer going to do business with you because this place does not require me to have to wear a mask. And I can get everything out of this place that I can get from you. And I'll tell you what, people are going to leave in droves. And I have actually had to do that with other businesses that I visit here in the state, that I visited for, I'm talking years, almost a decade, that I absolutely love. And I love the people, and I've got to know many of them, but I've had to tell them that I'm sorry, but you know what, I haven't been coming in here anymore because you guys require masks and this other place doesn't. And it breaks my heart to tell them that because, I really enjoy the people. And I know it's not the workers' fault. They're not the ones that are making those rules. But the message is getting to them. And then you know what? They're going to go and report that back to their managers. And you know what? Business is going to drop for them. It's going to drop for anybody if you're running a business. But then you know what? Your competition isn't requiring masks. That's going to hurt you. Especially, again, this is, under the guidance if all mask mandates were dropped in your state, or especially at least in your city, that it would make a huge difference. But I'm telling you guys, there are places out there. You can find them. Make the call. You don't have to be a prisoner in your own home. If you're so against the mask, look like I am, but if you can make some phone calls, check around. There are businesses out there. I can, I'm telling you right now, I'm a witness to that. I've experienced it myself, and they may be a little bit hard to find, but there are people out there that would believe, maybe just like you and I do, that you know what, they're not going to be into this. They're not going to do this. They're not going to treat their customers this way. They believe in freedom. They believe in people having a choice. They welcome anybody who wants to wear a mask, but they're not going to force you to wear one either. So that is huge. And as far as, if you have a medical condition, unfortunately, some places, they don't care. They will still force you to put a mask on. And if that's the case, it's even more of a reason for you to make some phone calls and find businesses that will allow you to be in there. There's some businesses just outright, they will defy the ADA and everything like that, and they just don't care because they're so fear-stricken by this that they've let it grip them, and they'll pretty much let their business just completely go downhill, and they'll probably end up closing and losing it, as if enough of these businesses weren't affected already when these shutdowns first started happening, and then, pretty much places were closed for months on end before the reopening started, and many of them never reopened, and that's the sad thing. But I hope this helped you guys today. I just wanted to share this information because we talk a lot about masks. I chat with you guys in the comments about it all the time on different videos. But when I started finding that this has worked for me, and I'll be on the phone, I'll be calling everybody up. Do you require a mask? It's not easy, but they are out there, and I have found places. And you know what? Those are the places that I will now go to, and they have my business and they have my respect. So I encourage you today, whether you're in a blue state or a red state, it's going to be a little bit harder for you in a blue state, but if you're in, more conservative area of that blue state, you might have better luck. If you're in a red state, you probably have a little bit of a better chance overall, depending on no matter where you are within that state. So, but give it a try, guys, and let me know. You let me know your experiences. You can let me know in the comments section if you have found places within your own state that do not require masks. If you've already done your own research and you found that, I would love to hear from you. So sound off down below. Like the video here on the way out. Share it with other people if you found this information useful. You could also help support and donate to the channel for $5 a month at Patreon at patreon.com/conservativetruth. The link is in the description. You also get access. I have like almost 25 podcasts now, guys. So check me out over there. There's great bonus stuff. Just a lot of great stuff going on right now. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll be back with more. You guys take care. Please be safe out there. God bless each and every single one of you. And I'll talk with you soon.